What is up, guys? How incredible was that last match? Oh my god. We went to sudden death, first time in the tournament, and brought you your first finalist, which is Alan. And we're going to talk about that later in the match, but we're here for another reason. We're here to find your other finalists. We're here to make it a big bout of haymakers. And that's what we're here to do in Nerd Fights. So I'm going to go ahead and just introduce my competitors real quick. You've seen them through the tournament. You've seen what they can do. Let's see what they can do against each other. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Tony first. Tony, are you excited for this Nerd Fight semifinal match?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an interesting match. My competitor is someone that I've seen play before. He's really good at this. I think I've got a good chance. I think my bullshit can work for my magic.
All right. Tony said he thinks his bullshit can work the magic. I see Sean's face unassuming and unamused by that answer. So, Sean, are you excited to be in the semifinals? Do you think that you're going to be the finalist? Do you think you're going to be the champion? How you feeling, man?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. I mean, this is my second match, so I mean, I'm still kind of new to everything, but I'm pretty good at debating and arguing. And Tony likes to put up a front that he's not that dangerous and that he's kind of aloof, but I'm not going to let him get away with that. So I know he's tough, and I'm not going to let him skate by. But I feel like my questions are stronger than his, and I feel like I'm a better arguer. So yeah, I expect to move on to the finals, and I expect to win, and I expect to do all that. Because if you don't expect to win, or if you don't think you're going to win, then why are you even here?
Woo! That are some words, guys. That are some words here. And of course, I'm not here by myself. I have my judges. I'm going to go over to Matt first. Matt, you were in the semifinals with me judging that match. How exciting was that match? Are you excited for this match? Are you excited for the finals? Because depending on who this is that wins, it's going to be insane. I mean, regardless, both these competitors are strong competitors, so I'm excited for the finals either way. And we're going to have one heck of a champion.
Well, okay. So there were three questions there. One, am I excited for this match? Absolutely. I love nerd fights. I mean, I get to sit back and listen to people talk about, fandom. Why not? Two, how was the last match? I cannot wait to see that match again. It was so much fun. It was beautiful debates. And how about the finals? If it's anything like these two are going to be, bring it. I can't say anything else.
Man, poetic as ever. And Andy, you're joining me on the table for the first time in Nerd Fights. I'm super excited. I have hosted with you and judged you in a movie Battlegrounds match. Are you excited to be here in the semifinals? I'm excited to have you here, man. Are you excited?
Thank you. I'm excited to be here back with you, Doug. It's going to be a good match. Sean's a very knowledgeable guy, a very smart debater. Tony is my countryman, and he's very good at pretending he's also very smart. So I think it's going to be an exciting match. First time on Nerd Fights. I'm excited to hear the arguments, and I'm excited to hear the questions. And whoever gets the final will deserve it. So let's go. I'm ready.
Absolutely. And I'm going to go over the quick rules with you guys. I know that you know them by now through the tournament, but let's go ahead and run this down. We got 4 main rounds, 4 different categories, 4 different questions. That breaks down 90-second opener, 5-minute debate, and 60-second closure. If we get to the speed round like we did last match, I'll go over that with you then. We have a 1-minute extension rule that goes for your opening or your close, no longer for the debate round, because what happens if you do that 1 minute, it helps your opponent out. Let's not do that. Second rule, timeout rule. If the competitors are over-talking each other, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to say timeout. Once that happens and I can wrangle in the competitors, their 10 seconds of silence will start. The clock will continue to go until their 10 seconds is up, and then they'll begin to be able to argue again. And as always, we like to keep the judges to 20 to 30 seconds while making their decisions. So we're going to go ahead and go to question 1. I'm excited. from the category of indie comics. I think this is the first time we've had indie comics in a match. So from the category of indie comics, what graphic novel that has not been adapted for movie or TV should be, and why? And we're going to go to Tony first. Tony, 90 seconds on the board when you start talking.
Right, okay. So this one is for people that aren't your straight white males. Like this Rat Queens. This is a fantastic comic, independent comic. I believe Dark Comics. Oh, Image Comics. I apologize. It's a really interesting story, taking the idea of D&D, taking the idea of fantasy, and building it in with some fantastic comedy. Like they say it's Brian meets Lord of the Rings, and it's that good. There's some fantastic comedy. The characters are well fleshed out, very early on in the story, and there's so much they can work with that it would be such a great little mini series. The whole fantasy thing is being worn out at the moment, with it being all serious, all Game of Thrones. Everything is serious, but some levity into it is going to be so much fun, and Rat Queens can really be that thing. It also be the thing to widen open to every other person. Like this character's very lesbians, transgender, it's all this stuff in there. So like it's just like here's this other avenue for you people to go, for us to go down as LGBT. Please, let's do it, rather than just being the same old white hero superhero man. It's really, really good, and it's just not the same old shit.
All right, so we have Rat Queens from Tony saying, let's not do the same old. Let's add a different complexity. Let's add a different layer to this amazing world that we know as Nerdom. And let's throw that into it and see what we can do. Sean, what do you got? What do you got to counter that? What's your counterculture?
Well, yes, while same old might be considered boring or you want something changed, I get that, but with the way today's landscape's going, with movies being constantly sequels and remakes and stuff like that, sometimes new just does not quite work. So I actually am going with something that is a little more rugged, retro, and works with today's, and that is the comic Fear Agent. It's a very beautiful looking comic. The art direction is fantastic all the way throughout. It's a series that stars a rugged alcoholic Texas spaceman named Heathrow Hudson. He's the last of a group called the Fear Agents. It's very fast-paced adventure, very ultra-violent in a sense, and it has a beautiful 50s sci-fi kind of nostalgia art that could really become a retro situation that will, whether it's a miniseries or whether it's a film series, can really catch that eye from old fans and new fans alike, and bring forth, even though it might be something that is considered same old, it is a formula that works, and people will watch it and enjoy it.
All right. So this is going to be interesting. You have three white dudes going to judge this, where we are talking about advancing the comic lore, or kind of sticking in the same old thing and doing something a little different with it. So we have Rat Queens versus Fear Agent. Sean, Tony, 5 minutes. Win us over.
Right. So I'm going to be honest. I didn't have full time to read the whole of Fear Agent, but reading the synopsis of it, can you tell me where it actually differs from, like, oh, it's just Armageddon, it's just Blade Runner, but if they drank a little bit more? Because some of that did have
about space people going to blow up an asteroid. That's nothing to do with what this is.
It's Texans going into space. It's a
Texan. It's one Texan. It is not. Tell me how Rat Queens is a failed LARPing experiment. I mean, you literally have a comic book comic franchise that over the course of its run has constantly had writers and artists drop out. They keep having to reboot the franchise because the stories don't work. They basically did a whole issue where they're just going to pretend that didn't happen because the writer has no idea how to end it. If you can't have a comic book series that doesn't even itself know how to run a story, how are you going to expect a franchise, whether it be TV or movies, to be able to do the same?
Well, there was that bit of the lead writer and artist having been taken off the series for domestic violence. So that's less of them being,
we don't know what we're doing. It's more the case. Couple years.
It's more the case of them being like, oh shit, the guy that was running this is an absolute villain. Let's try and get this back on track. But it's one of those things as well with it. It's like the characters that they've built so far is such a great. They've already like perfectly ready to put in a miniseries to just run for like a HBO for like 60 minutes, just to like, oh yeah, these girls in a pub for like 30 minutes, then they go out and chop a few heads off. The comedy in there is going to be so much rife rather than what you're offering, which is just like just the one person, like the brooding intensity, like.
It's not brooding intensity. And tell me how brooding intensity doesn't work. Han Solo, Malcolm Reynolds with Firefly Serenity, Ash Williams with Ash and the Evil Dead. The fans love a character that is flawed, who makes mistakes, and then can still become a hero at the end. With those three no longer a part of a situation, this is where Heath Hudson comes in, and people will flock to that kind of a character. Your fans have stated that the art style, the writing has gotten worse, and people are dropping off the ship of Rat Queens. Not enough people are reading it anymore because it did start off great. Yes, the guy was a kind of a creep, but that's when the story was great, and it's fallen off since then. How are you going to capture a fan base that's jumping off ship when you literally can't have a direction of where the ship's going right now?
Well,
mine has a middle and end.
Well, yours is a case where it's been away for 10 years, and it's like the guy came back because he's ran out of money, pretty much. They were trying to do a film adaptation, and then they realized, oh, we can't actually do this, can we? With Rat Queens, it's a case of if someone put some investment into it and someone put in the time to like really create the story, like use what the existing characters to build a world outwards, it could be something really amazing that could really push forwards the fantasy world towards more people of color, more women, more LGBT. Whereas it's just like, and also in regards to you saying about, oh, we had Han Solo. How did Solo do at the box office? How did that correctly do? How did that?
I'm not talking about the show itself. I'm talking about the character. People love that character. It's one of the most favorite characters in Star Wars franchise. And your comic was already announced to intend to be adapted to a 30-minute animated TV series by Pucco. So yours is already being adapted, and it still hasn't been happening.
A company that doesn't exist anymore. So a company that doesn't exist. But it's both of us has had people looking into it and said, oh yeah, we should do yours. Yours had 10 years of people looking into it and going, oh, we can't do this. Whereas mine had a small ass company, and then they went and did RPG stuff instead. But it's like, but it just feels like what you're offering is something that's a dying ship. Sci-fi really just feel that there's not much of that greatness coming out, whereas fantasy is on the rise. Fantasy, like Game of Thrones finished, like that realism of fantasy, that stuff is kind of go.
And it ultimately fell apart. Look at how Game of Thrones ended, and what are they doing now? They're going back to what works, which is Lord of the Rings. Warcraft failed and bombed. Shannara Chronicles failed and bombed. New fantasy, it's a nice thought process, but it doesn't ever naturally work, especially when it comes to ratings and box office. And let's talk about your characters, how, oh, it's a great LBG community. I agree. Yep. That's fantastic. But the dynamic of the way the world is today, you're going to lose half your fans right from the get-go with the lesbian, transgender stuff. I personally don't care. I'm all for it. But the way it's going to work, you're already looking at a potential downfall without changing the character's choices, which means you're going to have to take away from what these characters are from their pure original selves.
I know, it's one of those things where it's one of those things where you can afford to lose those people because they're wankers, pretty much. Like, why would you want to target to that audience, whereas you can actually embrace an audience that will take you to that heart?
Time. Woo! All right. It has been a slobberknocker so far, and we're going to continue this slobberknocker by going back to Tony for his closing arguments. Tony, 60 seconds on the board. Tell us why Rat Queens should be adapted instead of Fear Agent.
The reason Rat Queens should be adapted is because it just offers more. It offers more opportunity, offers more variety, offers more chances to grow and to create something better than what the Fear Agent, which is just like, it's this little niche. Like Fear Agent tries to call itself sci-fi with balls. Please, we have Black Mirror. We have so much of that stuff trying to be, yeah, fantasy, sci-fi with balls, yeah. Like, at least we can offer something. We can offer the comedy. We can offer the fun. We can offer that, and we can embrace this community that's really crying out for something to hold on to. Boom.
All right, and he ends it with a boom, his version of a mic drop. And we're going over to Sean. Sean, Fear Agent. Tell me why, and tell the other judges too, because I'm not the only one just judging. But tell us why it should be adapted over Rat Queens. 60 seconds on the board. Close us out for this question.
You said boom, and there was no emotion out of that, just like there's going to be no emotion when it comes to the ratings and the box office for Rat Queens. Fear Agent is something that's going to be retro with great 50 styles. It's got a great flawed character that fans are going to love and follow. It has to do with wormholes where they can go in and out of time. It has more than just one character. There are other characters such as Mara, Charlotte. You got two alien fractions fighting each other, and frankly, the writing in Great Rat Queens is cringeworthy bad. It's like a teenager who's just trying to be fun with sexual crass jokes, and it's just cringeworthy. With Fear Agent, it's unique in its style. It is ultra violent. People love those kinds of films, and yeah, it's spaced with balls. You know what? The dynamic of the world today, we need some more sci-fi with balls. Metaphorical balls, that is.
Sci-fi with medical ball with metaphorical balls. That is officially going to be a quote for Sean right now. Sean, that's officially your quote from now on. With metaphorical balls. Sean, the metaphorical balls. All right, guys. So I'm not going to actually have to go first on this one. I'm going to go to my first judge, Matt. Make some sense of this for me. Rat Queens, Fear Agent. This match was it's kicking off to be really special. I'm excited. Tell me how you're feeling.
Well, metaphorical balls. I mean, let's go with that. No, I'm gonna give my point to Sean because he explained a little more of what the dynamic of his show would be. It would be gritty, but we'd also have a sci-fi feel. We'd have wormholes. We could go off topic, and we can end up anywhere. And I just think Tony didn't really go into that much detail of what his show would be about.
Okay. Going over to Andy. Andy, how do you feel? Make some sense of this for me, man. Where's your head at?
Well, cut to the chase, I agree. I'm giving my point to Sean on much the same lines, that having listened to this, and I'm not as into fandom as a lot of people are. So having heard this, I still don't know a lot about what Rat Queens is really about, who the characters are. I wasn't sold enough on it beyond the general landscape of their great inclusive characters. But who are they? What do they do? I got a bit more of that from Fear Agent. Also, when Sean listed off a bunch of similar films that flopped, I thought that was quite smart as well. It kind of showed that this might not be the best idea. So I'm giving my point to Sean.
So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and give the point to Sean for Fear Agent. I will. That's interesting. We're going to go over to the next topic. So Stranger Things 3 did a thing and made a lot of people either cringe or shout with joy because it's an amazing song. And in your realm of fantasy, the category fantasy, who should direct a film set around the world of NeverEnding Story? And we're going to go to Sean first. Sean, who do you got?
Well, backtrack it a little bit on the first round. When we go to a fantasy kind of world, we want something that's going to enthrall us, capture our eye, make us fall in love with the world that we're in, that's going to have unique, strange, weird creatures, but also has a realm of darkness in it that can really encapsulate yourself and make you a part of that world. And that is something that the NeverEnding Story has done. Even it was all the way back in, I believe it was 86, 84, 86, somewhere around there. It's a dark tale, even though it's a children's film. And to me, if you're looking at a film like that with creatures, darkness to it, with still some light charm, to me, the one director you go to above all else is the person that has done that for most of their career, and that is Guillermo del Toro. There really is no better choice than him, and I'm going to concede the rest of my time, so I'm going to save the rest of it for the argument.
All right, Sean being a gentleman and giving me Del Toro. I love it. And we're gonna go over to Tony. Tony, I'm excited to hear who you got. Who do you feel should direct a film set in the world of 1984's NeverEnding Story?
First, I feel she get a point deducted because of not getting the year right. But anyway, person I'm going to go with, so to give you a bit of background, I work as a teacher, and there's two movies, the 10 years I've been in teaching, that have really gotten kids' attention because Neverending Story is a children's film. The two are Frozen and The Greatest Showman. So, and if you look at Greatest Showman, there's so many fantastic fucking scenes, man. Like, that can catch the attention. And Michael Gracie, the director of it, it was his debut film. He did such an amazing job with the. Let's be frank, it's a terrible script. But some of the songs are pretty good, but it's a terrible script. But the scenes that Rewrite the Stars is fantastic. All the dance scenes are incredible. Like the shots that they have. Like, if you imagine that, but you give that to the Neverending Story, that'll be something that children will remember for a lifetime. That'll be the thing they'll be nostalgic about in 10, 15, 20 years' time. That will be coming back, and it won't be the case where you look at it and just go, yeah, that's a bit naff, isn't it? It'll be like, oh, shit, look at that. That was amazing. Look at what they did. Look at this. Look at that. Like, that will be the thing that sticks to the mind.
All right, they're both ending early to get to this debate round. It looks like they want to go head-to-head, giving me Del Toro and Gracie. Sounds like a boxing match. Guys, NeverEnding Story. Who should direct a film in this world? 5 minutes on the clock when one of you start talking.
First things first. You're picking the guy who did Greatest Showman to do the NeverEnding Story? Dude,
the guy that's also
one film.
Have you seen what his visual direction stuff that he's done as well? That's
he's a very good job at visual effects, and he's a very good job at doing music videos. But you know what made NeverEnding Story fantastic? Practical effects. What is Del Toro's bread and butter? Practical creatures that look real.
What's your favorite Del Toro film?
I love Pan's Labyrinth. I love Hellboy. I love Shape of Water. Pacific Rim. Do I need to keep going? Blame 2. I can name them. They all have phenomenal, breathtakingly beautiful creatures.
Like, Guillermo del Toro is one of the best directors going, absolutely. But why would you want to put him in Neverending Story? Why would you want to give him the ability to go and do his own thing? Because, like, you look at his...
He will make Fantasia his own thing, and it will be beautiful.
But if you allow him to get his freedom so he can do more, like Pan's Labyrinth, he can do more Shape of Water. Whereas if you give it to Gracie, this is someone that's got new ideas that is going to build his legacy on this film. Whereas Del Toro doesn't need that. He can go and do his own things. Why would you get Picasso to paint your kitchen? Let Picasso go and paint his work.
Kitchen you have ever eaten food or cooked food in. Why give something to Gracie who's done nothing but music videos? Yeah, it was a horrible script, which means that a director should have made it better. All he did was make great musical numbers, and then you fast forwarded through the rest of the story till you got to the next musical number. You can't do that with NeverEnding Story. Outside of the original song, there is no other music, which takes you completely out of the realm of what Gracie is good at. Dude has not proven himself, and no studio is going to put someone like that in front of a franchise that has multiple books. No one's going to put him in charge of that. They're going to give it to someone they can trust, someone who's an award winner, and someone who has an eye to creatures like Del Toro.
So they wouldn't trust the highest grossing debut director of all time. They wouldn't trust the person that they gave Naruto to. They wouldn't trust that person.
Pre-production needs to be fired.
Oh, hell no. But we're talking...
Lord Solo.
I will happily put money on that. But it's a case of when you look at NeverEnding Story, let's be honest, the thing that you remember the most is song, the NeverEnding Story.
No, you remember Falcor. You don't remember the song. You remember the song now because of Stranger Things.
No, you remember the song, and then you got the image.
Falcor, and you remember the horse. Yeah, that's what you remember with NeverEnding Story.
You remember the Falcon, and then you remember the song at the same time, and it's like you imagine, like, let Gracie work with that and like make it into a musical.
One song.
Like, why would he?
One song.
One song at the moment, but you can put more songs into it. If you build it as a musical, if you get that fancy musical standard, that would be amazing.
So it would be. And also, only work if he does a musical.
No, it would be if you include the music into it because that's what children like at the moment. If you can see what the children like, because as I've said, it's never a story. It's a film for children.
Film for children that literally has statues with boobs out and people who are burnt to a crisp and a horse drowning in a tar pit. That was a movie back then that worked. That is not a children's film today. That is a PG-13 film for all ages. It is not a children's film.
We're not going to talk about the
completely cutting it off at the knees.
We're not going to talk about the 80s childcare regime because, let's be fair, a few of you guys came out of it. But it's a case of
old us now. You could age us. That's not the best way to win over the judges. By the middle fingers being shown on screen right now.
But it's one of those things where it's like, if you give it to Del Toro, it feels like a waste because he can do so much more with his own imagination. Where if you give it to Gracie, it's like because you look at stuff like Taika Waititi, you gave him 4 and he was able to work magic with it because he had the background to work with.
Independent director. That was Taika Waititi. Michael Gracie is not. Michael Gracie had Greatest Showman, which frankly should not have worked at all. It worked because of the performances and song numbers by Hugh Jackman, Zac Efron, Zendaya, and I can't remember the bearded lady's name off the top of my head. Without those 4 singing, that movie would have fell apart hard. And you can look at the reviews and the critics. Just because the fans like going back and listening to the same song over and over and over again does not make it a success. Okay? You said with Del Toro, he's got a vision. He can make his own world. But you know what? All we had is the NeverEnding Story and its books and Fantasia, and he can take that story, make it his own, create beautiful creatures. I would love to see what Del Toro's take on Falcor is.
10 seconds.
But the case in that is that I just keep going back to it. Why put Picasso into the kitchen, whereas you can give him the art to go into the gallery? Why would you want to limit Del Toro?
Time. And time. We have Del Toro versus Gracie, and this argument is getting heated, guys. Sean, closing arguments. Del Toro, tell us why he should get this over Gracie. Win us over. Sway our vote.
I don't think I need to sway your vote. Look, you think your knockout blow is why have Picasso in a kitchen instead of give someone new. I'd rather have Picasso painting my kitchen than a little kid with watercolors. And that is basically what Michael Gracie is. He is an unestablished director. He had one good film. Yeah, he's got Notaro coming up, but once again, it's pre-production. He can easily be removed if they don't like the way the story is going. You're going to give someone who's got the pedigree, the resume, someone you can rely on to take this franchise to the next echelon, make it what the original wasn't, besides just one good film and 2 duds. He is a great his practical effects are better than anyone else in the world, and that's why you go to Del Toro for these characters. That was the thing that made the NeverEnding Story fantastic, was that it was practical effects. The creatures looked real. They weren't CG. They weren't crazy cool visuals. You go a practical director who can do it and has done it, and that's why he's a Oscar winner for Best Director. And that's why you pick Del Toro for NeverEnding Story and not Gracie.
Woo! Sean finishing up in time, but we're going to go ahead and deduct him his point that he initially won for throwing any shade at NeverEnding Story 2, because I love that movie growing up. So
it wasn't a box office hit, though. That's my point.
I don't care. I don't care. This is Nerd Fights.
I love it too.
This is Nerd Fights. All right. We're going to go to Tony. Tony, tell us why. Gracie over Del Toro. 60 seconds, man. Tell us what you got.
So in this question, it's like, why not go for 80 Spielberg? Why not go for Jim Henson? Why not go for this? Why not go for that? Because either they're too old or they're dead. Like that. Like Del Toro is too good for this at the moment. Like you give it to Gracie, and he can, as I said, he can put his time and his effort. You can put the beauty of that Great Showman hand, because those scenes, like all the way through, that was a visual movie that is delicious to watch. Like it captured the imagination. It kept you there, even if the story was lacking, and even if you knew this. Like, which, let's be honest, I'm not a big fan of the NeverEnding Story. I don't think the story is good. But you give it to someone that can make it a visual masterpiece like Gracie can. Like, we can keep talking about, like, Del Toro might do it well, but it's like, but you'll be there watching it. Like, you spent 3 years on this, mate. You could have done something better. You could have done another Shape of Water. You could have done another Pan's Labyrinth. You could have done something of your own. Whereas Gracie, like,
10 seconds.
You get that idea of like, you can make it yours. You can do it. You can build that as your centerpiece, your perfect movie.
All right. Time's up on that, and he finished in time. And Sean, I forgive you for your last statement. Tony, you lost the entire match. How dare you say that in this house? You have no courage. The strings are killing you at the gate. Oh man, this was intense. I enjoyed this second question a lot. If you couldn't tell, I'm a huge NeverEnding Story fan.
No.
Just if you couldn't tell. So we're gonna go to Andy. Andy, make some sense of this. Let me know how you're feeling on this one.
Yeah, so I think the way that this argument can be summed up is very much that a lot of Tony's argument was we can let Guillermo del Toro do it because he's too good. I don't consider that a particularly strong argument. I think that's largely where you lost it. A bit of fact checking: Michael Gracie, as well as the Naruto series, he is scheduled to direct a fantasy film based off a novel called Daughter of Smoke and Bone. That's just irrelevant fact checking. The point goes to Sean.
All right, so I'll take second on this. Going into it, Tony, you kind of had one argument and you dug in with it, like Andy said. You dug in with it. Why give Picasso the ability to paint your kitchen? Because he's such this great thing. And I think Sean battled that beautifully by saying, why not? Because if you give this to somebody, he can expand the world and he can give you creatures that you may have thought you liked and give you something that you love. And when he kept combating you against, it being basically a music video movie, I didn't really hear you connect why those would transfer over to NeverEnding Story. Why his filmography, his vision would transfer over, and Sean kept hitting you on that. I am giving the point to Sean. All right, Tony, this is your chance to take it to question 4. We're going to sci-fi. Which character from any sci-fi franchise do you think would win in a boxing match? Tony, we're going to you first. Who do you got?
So, boxing is a noble sport. Boxing is a regal sport. It's something that you put effort into, you put time into. You are a machine. You work towards it your entire life. Like, if you put someone in that's just a slugger, he might have a puncher's chance, but he's never going to truly win. But if you put someone in that's built for it, then he's going to have a shot. And that's why I went for Atom with Real Steel. The movie is literally about boxing. It's Rocky with robots. It's amazing if you have not watched it, but it's a case where it's one of those things where it's like, what if the thing that's built for it, it's gonna win? Like, it's the Rocky Balboa, Rocky Balboa. It's like, I can say, like, I'll let Sean explain his, but it's just one of those things where my brain just keeps going back to, yeah, but why would he? Yeah, but why? It just makes no sense. But whereas mine is literally, that's what he's built for. That's what he's programmed for. That's what his whole existence is for.
10 seconds.
987654321.
All right. Tony's got Adam from Real Steel. Sean, who you got? 90 seconds on the board.
Look, coming from a fighting background, being a former pro wrestler, and also with some MMA in my so the best fight or the best fighter is someone who can counter anything that their opponent's going to be able to bring to them. Someone that has literally no weaknesses, that can attack that person in a ring. And that is why I chose Terminator 2 Judgment Day's T-1000. I dare Tony to find a way to say that Adam, a robot boxer, can take on T-1000. You needed those first 2 rounds. You ain't winning this one. And also, knock a point. It's Balboa. Concede the rest of my time.
He's hitting them back with knocking the points for getting information wrong. All right, so we have Adam versus T1000. Guys, this is gonna. Okay, Tony gets to keep his point because he made a joke. Even though he has none to keep. So,
I literally can't see what that says.
So Tony, Sean, Adam versus T1000. 5 minutes. Tell us who wins.
Go ahead, Tony. You need it more than I do.
So why would he fight?
That's not the question. That is not the question. The question is which sci-fi characters would win in a boxing match. It's not why would they be in the boxing match.
No, that's my motivation. Why would he actually get in there and fight? Like, it's a case of, is it John Connor? No, he'll just swan off then.
Cool.
That's where my brain kept going to. It's
Skynet thinks that Adam is a killer threat. T1000, fight him. Go. There's your motivation.
Okay, it's a case of the boxing expertise. It's a case that it's going to go the distance. It's going to be able to counter punch. Like, it's one of those things where it's an interesting concept where T1000 is stronger, T1000's better, but it's the machine that can keep scrapping on and on and on, and it'll get that final victory, because at the end of the day, it's a bot that's made to be that feel-good story.
Cool.
Like,
Great. It's a feel-good story. You gotta remember, Adam lost at the end of Real Steel, just like Rocky did in Rocky 1. This is a sparring bot. He's not even a bot who should be in the ring. The only reason he's good is because he's got Charlie Kenton out there telling him what to do. Take Charlie Kenton out of the equation, he's just going to stand there with the same predetermined moveset that the T1000 is going to exploit. The T1000 has a mimic polyalloy liquid metal shape changer. He can literally turn himself into Adam and F him up. If Adam even punches him, he can turn to liquid metal, catch his hand, and then hit 3 Rainmakers, because you know what? The T1000 can tap multiple limbs. He's 6 times stronger than the original Terminator. What?
Disqualification. He's captured his hand. You can't really do that in the boxing match. The rules regulation.
Do you not know how boxing works?
You can't put your face. You can't put your hand in his face. And also multiple hands. It's one of those things where the T1000, all his program and everything like that, it's like you can look at it and just go, yeah, but why would you just stick to punching? Why wouldn't you try and stab? That's because your program is to just kill at all costs.
He is programmed with martial arts abilities. He can F you up with just his hands and gloves. He doesn't even have to kick him. Adam is used to working against bigger opponents. His main fighting style is uppercuts. You can't uppercut something that's smaller than you. You will just graze the top of its head. T1000's faster, and just like and you can say with Adam at the end of the film, the only reason he did good at the end of the film is because Zeus got tired. T1000 never gets tired. He's got unlimited stamina. So Adam will break down way before T1000 does. And you can't hurt the T1000 because Adam's not going to be able to punch him with extreme acid or heat or cold. He's just got metal fists. And we saw in Terminator Judgment Day, fists don't matter against the T1000. Even by points, T1000 will win this entire fight.
I just keep going back to the idea that it's just a Kimbo Slice. He'll just be swinging for the fences, just trying to get a knockout bow, and then just like...
What Adam have to do.
Pardon?
T1000 can just stand still. Adam's the one that's going to have to punch, because as soon as he lands one punch, Adam's going to go down. And I'm sorry, knockdowns count as points in a boxing fight.
It does, and but I think it's a case where Adam has the movability more. It's like where T1000 is going to just keep going forward and forward and forward, whereas Adam's going to be able to be a bit more sly and move a bit more, move just like that.
And you know what the greatest thing about T1000 is? If he slides moves out of the way, T1000 can literally shift and turn right back around and punch him in the face. He's an unstoppable killing machine. The only way they stopped him in the original film was with acid and fire and cold. Adam cannot do that in a boxing match. Adam will break down. And all he has to do is knock Charlie out of the equation, and then Adam's just going to stand there.
But yeah, I just can't get my head around it. It's the idea that Skynet would send him to box. That's the thing that just gets my mind going, because I know you said, but they change it. But why in the grand scheme of things would Skynet bother about boxing match? Like, the motivation of the character isn't there.
This is the problem that you're having. You're trying to make this a movie. This is not about a movie. This is literally putting 2 people in the ring and fighting each other. It has nothing to do with why T1000 would fight. All you got to say is kill that thing. And also, let's say he wants to kill Charlie Kenton. Adam's in his way. He's going to take Adam out of the way, punch him into oblivion, and then kill Charlie.
But
That's
why would he?
the motivation right there. You don't have to have motivation in a boxing fight. It's take out the other person and win the match. That is what it is. You're trying to come up with a storyline element for a movie. It's not a movie. It's a fight.
But it's a fight between two robots. It's a fight between a robot that wants to win and a fight against a robot that wants to go and find John Connor. It's
There's
like,
nothing to do with John Connor in this fight. Nothing to do with it. It's literally a match with two people. You have a robot who constantly just wants to take a beating, and you have a robot that literally will stop at nothing to kill its predator or its prey. Knocked out.
like it's okay. It's just a case where it's just
Time. All right, Tony, this is your chance, man. Adam versus T1000. Who winning the boxing match? 60 seconds on the board. Close it out.
I keep saying that the idea that it's a machine that's built for boxing versus a machine that's built for killing. It's a case of that if you would the programming of the T1000 be able to cope with the idea that he can stop and like, okay, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that, I've just got to go bang, bang, bang. Like, would he be able to process that enough time for Adam to be able to get a few points, like, and then just duck and dive for the rest of the fight? Also, the motivation towards it, it's like the boxing machine would want to box, the T1000 want to kill. There's just the idea of this being a boxing match. It's that the boxer will win the match against the killer. Simple as. Done.
All right, Tony, dropping the boxing robot would win in a boxing match. Sean, T1000. Tell us why it wins over Adam. 60 seconds on the board when you start talking.
Tony wants a heartfelt story about a boxer who just won't quit. That's a great movie, and I loved Real Steel. I think Adam's a fantastic underdog character that still couldn't win the big one at the end of the movie. This is a fight, and that is what this only is. There needs no be motivation except win. T1000, you said he's got all these other things at his disposal. How's he going to be able to fixate on just boxing? He can literally turn his hands into metal steel inside the gloves and knock him the hell out. You say Adam just wants to be a boxing robot. No, he's not. He's just a robot. Charlie's the one that wants him to box. Take Charlie out of the equation. Adam just stands there in the ring and does not fight. It is Charlie that boxes and Adam follows. It is not the other way around. The T1000 will go in, go, that's my opponent. I'm taking him out, and he will beat him into an oblivion. If he doesn't knock him out, because Adam keeps getting up, then he will win by points because you can only knock something down 20 times before the match is called for a TKO, and that's what the T1000 would do.
All right. Sean finishing strong with question 3 saying that this is a boxing match. There is no story to it. It's just a fight. I guess I'm going to kick this off, even though I don't want to. I hate going first, but I'll be fair since I made my other two Joe first. So here's the problem with Tony's argument, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but Tony, you stuck to why of what's the mindset of why the character would do it instead of, okay, this is happening, let's just get into it. And I didn't hear enough of why Adam would literally outlast the T1000. I heard a lot from Sean as to why he would outlast, why he would outperform, why he would basically win the match. I didn't hear that much from you. So I do have to give my point to Sean for that. I'm gonna go to Matt. Matt, where are you headed?
I really wanted Tony to come out and swing for the fences with this one because I love Real Steel, but Sean had a counter for everything. He said, well, if Skynet could program the T1000 and say, here's your target, go, and they would go. So, yeah, Sean had a counter for everything, so Sean gets the point.
And we got our second KO of the tournament and your winner of tonight, Sean. How are you feeling? This is just an intense match. This was an intense match. Tony, you fought your hardest. I'm going to go to Sean first. Sean, You're going to be facing Alan for the finals. You got your first KO of the season. You're possibly on your way to become the Nerd Fight champion. For a player who didn't think he was going to do so well in his first match, to come here, get your KO, how are you feeling? Are you excited for this?
One of my favorite lines of any movie of all time is Aaron Eckhart's performance in Thank You for Smoking that says, the beauty of an argument is if you argue correctly, you're never wrong. And as long as I've got something to argue for and be passionate about, I won't lose. And that's what this was. I'm glad that this was a passionate fight. I'm glad it was an intense fight because that's what gets clicks, that's what gets views, and that's what brings people wanting back for more. Tony is a very passionate fighter, and I knew I was going to have a lot of fun fighting Tony in this fight, and I did, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm ashamed we didn't get to go to that next round because that one was going to be an enjoyable one. Yeah, next up's Alan. He's just another target. He's another contender. He's just another one for me to knock down. And wow, look who's here.
Oh, man. Alan drops in on the match. Alan, this is your opponent. Sean is your match for the finals. He just KO'd somebody. Are you ready for this match? He just KO'd somebody.
Well, I suppose I better get ready if he's KOing people.
And if it's anything like classic, I'm going to beat you anyway, so might as well just wrap it up already right now.
Nice.
Enjoy the nice weather.
Brother.
You don't have to bring it. You look like you're having right now, so enjoy it. Enjoy it. Have
I will.
And while you're there for me, please. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have fun. I can't wait. This is gonna be a lot of fun.
All right, Alan,
Definitely.
It's a pleasure to see you. It's a pleasure to see you. We're gonna be excited for this final. It's gonna be intense. But let me real quick go over to Tony. Tony, man, I know that you're probably a little disheartened with that last question, but I don't want you to be because you had a hell of a first round. You're 1-1 in this friggin' league. You're gonna be a monster in this league. I don't want you to get your head down. What's your thought process about going back and reworking some stuff and coming back into the league?
My nerd isn't my forte. Like quite a few of these for the last two matches I've known little to nothing about. It's been a lot about seeing how my bullshit can carry me when going up against someone that knows his stuff. My jokes and my funniness couldn't last. I think I had some clever ideas. I just think it was one of those things where it's like NeverEnding story. Of course, the guy that makes fantasy his career was going to always win. It's like if you need that spark of imagination to try someone else, and it's like whoever said Del Toro was going to win that point no matter what. So it's like Sean is absolute killer. I feel sorry for Alan because that's going to be an absolute nightmare for him to face. But I hope another time we can do something a bit more where I'm not looking at shit going, oh God, what NeverEnding story? I've never seen that film. Oh God, I've read like 3 comics in my life.
Tony, you want to know something? Never read Rat Queens, never read Fear Agent.
Good to know.
All right.
I'm going to go kill myself.
People showing their faces already, and we're not even off camera yet. All right, let me go to my judges. Matt, how are you feeling about this match? You were in Alan's match. What do you think this Alan-Sean match is going to be like?
Okay, first, this match was great. Tony, don't drop your head, mate. If they're willing, I will play with you. Now, I saw Alan's match. I judged it. We went to speed round. That was awesome. Sean just dropped a KO. Are you kidding me? I cannot wait to see this match. I know they're both going to bring it. The spaceman sitting there. Mr. Hawaii is sitting there. We've got, Sean, Mr. Movie Reviewer in the other corner. This is going to be Rocky versus Apollo in Rocky 2. They're both going to get knocked down. Who's going to get up first? I cannot wait to see this match. Guys, this was an awesome match. Sean versus Alan's going to be even bigger. I cannot wait. Let's go.
All right, and Andy.
Quick thing here, real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Alan, tell me what a speed round's like. I don't know what it's like.
Say it again.
What's a speed round like? I don't know what that's like. Could you explain it to
Oh,
me?
nice. Oh, don't worry. We'll get there. We'll show
I'll
it
be
to
like
you.
Alan, you'll be knocked out in 3, 4,
All
5
right,
years.
guys. All right, first of all, do I gotta do the timeout before we even start a match? Let's go to my other judge.
Okay,
Andy.
time. I'm taking this away.
Andy, sorry for the circus and getting to you last, but certainly not least. You were an incredible judge tonight. You did a fantastic job on the panel. What did you think of this match? Are you excited for the finale, seeing these two goofballs go at it already?
Oh, I'm excited for the final now. Watching that, oh my goodness, yeah, they are going to be at it. Yeah, I feel bad for Tony. Obviously, he's my countryman. You know, I like him, but he came up against a very good opponent today. I thought Sean's arguments were very focused, very well researched, and he's going to be a real threat in the final. I think him and Alan's going to have a real good game. But I enjoyed it though. I learned a few things that, like I say, I mean, like Tony, I'm not into all the fandom stuff, so I learned a few comics, a few characters I might want to check out. I heard some really good debates, and it was a good match. And the final's going to be a great match. Oh my goodness, they are ready. They are ready for it. So fair play, lads.
I am so excited. Andy, Matt, Sean, Alan, Tony, guys. You guys killed it today. Alan, thank you for stopping by. Guys, this is Nerd Fights. This is where we throw down on nerd subjects, and we know how to go toe-to-toe. This final is going to be something that you're going to want to keep your eyes peeled. We might have a special judge. I'm excited for it. And, guys, all you nerds out there, keep fighting.